All of us have seeds of greatness, but those will only grow if we will nurture them. An icon in the broadcast industry in Negros Occidental is a perfect example of nurturing the seeds of greatness within her. She doesn't rest on her laurels, but continues to learn more, teach more, and give more. Welcome to Life Expressions. I'm Chari Hinete Elon, and my guest today is a broadcast journalist for 23 years. She has a master's degree in public administration, a professor for 21 years. She has been teaching in UNOR or University of Negros Occidental Recoletos since year 2000 in mass communications and general education courses. She teaches media information and literacy at Sacred Heart Seminary School. She teaches MPA and MBA students in the School of Graduate Studies at STI West Negros University. She's also a faculty member of the MBA China program of STI WNU. Currently finishing her dissertation to complete the requirements in Doctor in Public Administration this December. She will soon be called Doctor. So she's also a media consultant, lifestyle vlogger, content creator, and the host and head writer of Bacolod Servicio Patrol, a lecturer and workshop facilitator on topics like broadcasting, journalism, and media ethics. Please welcome my former colleague and, of course, my friend, Yasmin Pascual-Dormido. Hi, Yasmin.
Hello, Chari, from the City of Smiles.
Yes, I'm happy to see you. Kamusta? How are you?
Okay, good. I'm very fine. And yes, it's been a long time since we've seen each other. At least now virtually we're able to talk and face each other again.
Yes.
Well, we can't say that it's easy living in the midst of the pandemic, but we have to adapt. And with God's grace, we're able to do so. So we're fine.
Yes, I'm happy to see you're thriving, Yasmin. As I have mentioned and introducing you, your profile is really flourishing. How are you doing that?
Well, it's also a struggle. It's never easy, but I think for women like you and me who are empowered and determined to always go higher and level up, we always find ways to be better than who and what we are now. So we're slowly and we just keep on going.
That is true. They say when the going gets tough, the tough gets going, and you're going and getting better every time, right?
Yes, and you have to be toughest also when the going gets tough.
True, I agree with that. Yasmin, you have been a broadcast journalist for 23 years, but we know that you have started from the ranks, but you got better and better. What did you do in the early days to improve your craft?
Well, I think I owe it. You and me, Cha, you will agree. We owe it to ABS-CBN. It's really the opportunity that it gave us that actually nurtured us, and of course the adequate training and exposure, including the values at work imbibed in us that we've lived as we kept doing our jobs or professions as journalists, and I think we wouldn't be part of this network media organization if we were not people or women who were always up for excellence. And among the values that ABS-CBN is known for is excellence. So it's like the passion that we have for communication, for telling stories that matter, not to us only, but to the people, to the community, plus of course hard work. And then coupled with the values that we got from our families, that we also were able to continue to live by when we were in the organization, ABS-CBN, and of course, our determination to always give our best in everything that we do, and that we always do honest work, hard work.
Yes. Where do you find your inspiration and your drive?
Well, of course, nothing is possible without God, of course. It's really Him who gives us who opens windows whenever doors are closed, who shows us the way whenever we seem lost. And then, of course, my family. I wouldn't be where I am now and who I am today without my parents who've been there. I mean, they've been my cheerleaders. My confidence started in my home. And of course, my own family now, my husband, who's always been so understanding, who have always allowed me to explore and find where I belong. And of
Yeah.
course, my two daughters, because we always want to be the best for our children and to give them the best at the same time. But of course, more than anything else, we want to be very good role models to our children. Like you have a daughter also,
That's
and they look up to us, and we want to influence them in the best way that we can. And of course, it's always journalism is a selfless profession. You can agree with me.
yeah,
We never owned our time. We
true.
never had holidays. We never had a chance to like say, I can attend all of the parties that I wanted to attend every December, because we knew that anytime we will be called to serve, and it's something that not everybody can commit to. But why did we stay for decades in such profession, which I consider a vocation? It's because of not only the passion, but I think it is what we love. Service that will never be returned
Correct.
is something that only somebody who's ready to really take the dive and commit herself or himself to do it can actually do it. Because if you look back, the more than 20 years that I've served as a journalist, I've missed a lot of, well, honestly, you've missed a lot of family gatherings, bonding time with their kids when they were babies while they're growing. But we all understood that it all came with a pack. It comes with a package, but no regrets, no
Yeah.
regrets, because we knew that that was our purpose. That's very clear. And
Yeah.
and I'm happy that I was given that chance and privilege, because not everybody is given that chance and privilege to do that kind of service for the community.
And you really took care of that opportunity as years go by. What is the most rewarding experience you've had as a broadcast journalist?
Um, it's always when you see people, when you bump into people by accident and you don't even know who these people are, and they just approach you and tell you, you did a story this year. I can't even remember it. And then they'll say, you know how what the impact that story had on us, or that in a way your story helped my family, or
Yeah.
that in one of the things that ABS-CBN did, that you facilitated, a family member who was in need
Yeah.
was given the help that she needed at time. And it's I cannot describe it in words, but it's something that makes, I mean, it reassures you that you are in the right place.
Yeah. And
It even motivates you to do even more of that. And it's something that it's something that you do not because you have a salary, you need money, or you know that they can repay you. It's priceless. It's the more than any material gift that can be given to you. And I think that's where we get our vitamins. That's where we get our high when we see
correct.
people, no matter how small or little or big we've done for them, that they've been helped, especially in times when they felt so helpless and hopeless.
Yeah. It's the fulfillment that you feel and you experience when
Right.
you do the things that you do. Min, in a word or two,
Right.
how would you describe your career? If you can describe it in a word or two, but I guess
Yeah,
not.
I can't.
That's a
Oh,
tough one.
yes, I can't, because no, I can't find a one word or two that will provide you with a very clear picture of how marvelous or wonderful this profession is, or my career is. Because for one, it's crazy. It really is crazy.
Yeah.
If you are one sensitive person, or if you're not a toughie, you'll never last here. It's one that drives you crazy. It's one that drives you mad. Sometimes, not sometimes, but I've cried tons of tears. I've been frustrated, disappointed, exasperated, but every day you wake up and you look forward to doing the same thing, and you just can't say goodbye to it. If not for ABS-CBN shutting down, I would be doing the same thing still. So it's really, I'd say I cannot compare this kind of profession to any profession in the world. I mean, it's one of the best professions.
And I would dare say it's service.
Yeah, it's all about public service. It's all about, it's a thankless job.
Yeah.
You get bashed, especially in this social media age.
Oh,
You get bashed, you get accused of being spreaders of disinformation or false information, even if you're not doing anything, even if you're just, doing what you're doing honestly,
yes.
and as accurately as they can.
You've mentioned false information, but nowadays it is so easy to propagate
Yes.
fake news. And since
Correct.
social media is there, anyone can write about anything, about anyone as well. So what is your take on fake news?
It's so sad. Actually, it's very heartbreaking, especially for us who are storytellers. We tell stories, but it's not fiction. It's about truth. It's all about facts. And then you have those who keep on spreading false information, and those who discredit actually journalists, which is shocking at first. Now it's frustrating. At times, you just wanna. Well, you're angry.
Yeah.
Because it seems like social media has made those who spread disinformation as the, how do you call it, the ones who are credible or believable, because when you look at social media, those who get the most number of likes, those who get the most number of shares and reactions are actually hoax content, false information, fake memes.
Yeah.
And the people responsible for it get glorified, recognized, and I don't understand it. It also is a double challenge for me, because I'm a professor and I'm an educator and I teach communication students, and it has become my advocacy that in all of my classes I always teach my students how to verify content, especially on social media, because I always remind them that as communication students, you are expected to be very responsible with everything that you do on social media, including what you share and what you post. And I always tell them, you have all the tools now. There's the internet. It's very easy to verify and validate content. So before you believe it or post a comment or share or react, please never forget one of the elements of journalism are principles, which is the discipline of verification.
Correct. And that's perhaps one of the major keys to verify and to spot fake news, when you cannot name the source, right?
Right. Yes. Yes, there are red flags actually. Like for you, well, we've been trained how to, verify, validate, and also to spot red flags when it comes to content. Yes, number one, if there's no source, no name, the source is not identified, then that's a red flag already. Right. Number two, if you are actually, your awareness in what is on what is happening all around you, if you're monitoring the news, you will right away spot if content is fake or not, right? If you read a lot also, you'll be able to spot content that is fake. So it still is education. It still is awareness. So, but the problem, the challenge is now the younger generation are more glued on social media, and that they've got lesser interest when it comes to public affairs, politics, environment, and everything that's happening all around them, which is actually the ones that are part of the real world. Okay? Because of the virtual world, it seems like there are a lot of people just stick to social media plus the pandemic now. But it's also one thing that I keep on reminding my students to never stop reading, educating themselves, and to always be updated. Monitor only legitimate sites, legitimate sources of information. I always tell them, always try to find out what that name of, because it's very easy nowadays to like come up with a name of a supposed media organization and create a Facebook page, right? So I always tell them, please, not because they've created the logo and then there's a name with a word media or network that becomes or makes them a legitimate or a reliable source. So you really have to do your own research.
That's very good. So can you say that your students are also following that advice and propagating that advice, making sure that we fight fake news and make sure that we only propagate the truth.
Sadly, sadly, there have been students, former students of mine I've seen on Facebook sharing memes from TikTok. I mean, these memes that are just manufactured
Yes.
and obviously have false content. But majority naman of my students, my former students and my current students now, they all are very responsible, and that makes me proud as a teacher. At least I have that positive influence on them.
Yes. Earlier, you've mentioned the shutting down of ABS-CBN due to non-renewal of the franchise. What was your first thought when you heard management announce that the network is shutting down?
Actually, we were all doing news gathering, but we all knew the day before that. We all knew that anytime management would call us, like noontime,
Yeah.
and it has been there. It has been there. We've been waiting for it and not wanting it to happen since 2016. So it's like it wasn't a surprise, but it wasn't also a pleasant or a welcome thing for us. I remember my cameraman and my driver stopped somewhere beside the road because we had to connect to Zoom.
Yeah.
And then Miss Cory Vidanes was there, and she met us virtually, the Bacolod team, and she was in tears. She was not just in tears, but it was really a very painful cry.
Yeah.
She was in tears all the time. She said the first thing that she said was she was sorry. She said management was sorry. They didn't want this to happen, but they said they couldn't find the way to save all of us.
Yeah.
So it was like that. Actually, that was the only time that my tears fell. I was just quiet. My tears fell while I was listening and watching her talk. Before that, there was nothing. It was like I was always telling God, please take over. There's nothing that I can do now. It's like I surrender to you everything, including my future. And the only thing that I promised God was I will be still. I will not panic. Because I said, if I panic, then maybe I will worsen, whatever circumstance I was in. So I was just still, and I said, okay, so I will, if ABS-CBN shuts down, so I will just take it slow, and then I'll take my time. I can still, I still teach. And I said, I'll take it from there. I'll think, and I'll ponder, reflect, and see where my next direction will be. So when she said that, we were so quiet in the crew cab, and when we got to the newsroom, Barbara was there, Martin was there, and then our PAs, Catherine and Ruby, was there. And Barbara was already in tears because we were supposed to have lunch together.
Yeah.
Pandemic. It was already the start of the pandemic. And when I saw Barbara crying already, that was the second time that I was also in tears. And there was nothing that we said. We just faced each other and we were just crying. I think we just couldn't put how we felt in words.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the cameramen who just came from the field also joined us, and everybody was in tears. And then after eating, we told each other that okay na, we will edit. Ma-edit pa tayo, may TV Patrol pa 5 p.m. We still need to edit. We still need to work because TV Patrol is airing at 5 p.m. And so we went to the editing rooms and did what we usually do before TV Patrol. And every now and then, my cameraman would stop and then just stare there blankly. And I would tap him on the shoulder and say, reserve your tears for later. We have to finish editing. But that was really, I think painful is an understatement to describe exactly how we felt at the time. We had cameramen punching the tables. They were really angry because for one, we didn't want to leave our jobs. We loved it so much. And then, the feeling of, how do you call that? Being victims.
Yeah.
But I refuse to be called a victim. But when you know that you've done nothing wrong and this happens to you in the midst of a pandemic.
Yeah.
I mean, if that happens to you, how will you react?
True.
But it's like, well, you have two choices: you surrender or you move forward, right? You spend the rest of your days crying, or you start start again from zero, build again from zero.
How did you move forward? Yes.
As I promised God, I took each day at a time. I I continued in the academe teaching in UNOR, and then Cha, this I keep on sharing with people that I am able to talk to. A few days, no, not a few weeks before the announcement that we were shutting down and we will be saying bye bye to ABS-CBN. I got a call from the dean of the School of Graduate Studies.
Mhm.
I didn't apply. She called me one afternoon and she said, how would you like to be part of the faculty of the School of Graduate Studies? And to me, it was God's way of telling me that you're doing the right thing, trusting me.
Yeah.
And not panicking. And I said, wow. So this is the reward for being, how do you call it? For just, believing that in God's goodness.
Yes.
Because I said to myself, I work hard. I always am committed to everything that I do. So I leave it to God. I mean, that's what faith is all about. And he really took care of me. So
Yes.
after that, I got that call, and then I was able to venture into vlogging, because I said for the longest time I wasn't able to do it because of the demands of my work. Now I have extra time, so why don't I try doing vlogs? But I said, if I get into vlogging, I'll make sure that all of my content will be positive, inspiring, motivating, nothing negative in there. Because I said people are so down right now. They're so fed up with the pandemic, with stories about deaths, people getting sick. So they need a little perking up. So I said everything that will be found in my vlog will all be good stories, positive stories, because I wanted to uplift the spirits of people too.
That's good.
And then sunod-sunod na siya. Everything followed. I got offers, I got clients. I also did I started media consultancy also, and then so on and so forth. I got offers, so I'm back again. I'm back again, and I'm happy that I'm being I'm able to do my two loves, telling stories and teaching.
What do you like most about teaching?
It gives me a higher purpose.
Yes.
Journalism, yes, it's my mission. Teaching gives me a higher purpose because I believe that you'll never be a very good and effective educator if you don't practice teach.
Yeah, that is true.
I believe that the best teacher is experience, and my experience and my exposure are the best things that I can share with my students, so that I can also prepare them with what they are going to face in the real world after college.
Yeah, that is true. Now we are in a very interesting period. National elections are coming up.
Yes.
And so what is your take on this? Do you actively campaign for the kind of leader that you think the country needs, or you just sit back and let people choose who they think is the best?
If you are a Facebook friend of mine, you will see me posting every now and then. I may not be very, very specific about people, specific about candidates, but you will always see my political views. I am more on, number one, educating voters. I am after, I really don't mind who your choice is. What I'm after is, if it's clear to you why you're choosing that leader or candidate, I go for platform. I also go for track record.
Very good.
But more importantly, I believe that you should also know you should really know and understand history, specifically of the Philippines, for you to be able to really gauge and assess whether that candidate is worthy of your vote. Because Well, for me, um, I am an educator. I am expected, and I expect myself to make a very sound decision when it comes to choosing my country's next leaders.
Yeah.
I'm a journalist, I'm an educator. So it's like I'd be foolish if I don't if I won't really have if I don't know what to do in order to make myself or make myself understand whether this particular candidate has done something good or is capable of doing something good
Mhm.
for the country or for the Filipinos. So that's it. Now I can post things like that because before, when I was a journalist, I couldn't because of the code of ethics. Because I have to be objective, I have to keep my personal views and biases to myself. But still, my posts are not intended to offend any political candidate or a political supporter. It's me, and to me it's more of my advocacy as an educator to keep on educating the young.
Yeah, that is good. And I have observed that many appreciate that fact that you are there to just voice out your opinion and not necessarily influence others on how to think. But perhaps you do it in the way
Right?
that you can best do, right? But Mitch,
Yes,
yes. What is your guiding
correct.
principle? What is your guiding principle in life?
It's always honest hard work, and that in anything that you do, just do not cause any harm.
Yeah.
Honest hard work, because I believe that no matter how difficult your circumstances in life are, if you work hard and if you're honest, coupled with your faith, it won't last for long.
Yes. You are a role model. You have a happy family life, a fulfilling career. What else do you aspire for?
Maybe a COVID-free world, pang Miss Universe. But it's. I think when you're reaching this age, cha, it's not more of you wanting something for yourself, but you're already at a point in your life where you wish that you can do something more for others already. So
That-
it's like well, my being in the academy now allows me to do that, and I'd like to continue doing that. And also because I'm already pursuing my doctorate in public administration, which gives me another venue where I can continue doing public service.
Yeah.
So that makes me excited, and it's also fulfilling because I think when we have already been blessed with a lot in our lives, especially with our careers, and when you've gone through a lot of difficulties and have survived most of them or
Yeah.
all of them because we're still here, it's time for you to be grateful and to show how grateful you are by sharing your blessings in any way that you can.
Yes, that is true. I agree with that. You have mentioned doctorate in public administration. Does that mean that you'll also enter politics in the future? Because many
No.
practitioners enter the world of politics, and it's not impossible for you to enter the world of politics.
You're not the first person to ask me that question, but I'm gonna give you the same answer I give them. I always tell them that no, I didn't take up public administration because I want to be a politician, not because I'm closing my doors to that possibility. But if you are to ask me, it's not the first reason, and I'm not considering um, running for an elective position. But I'm not closing my doors to that because nothing is. I mean, we can never
Final, yeah.
tell what may happen in the future. But I am excited about public administration because I want to be an expert, Cha, in well, in the public sector. I want to fuse communication, what I've learned and what I'm good at, uh, and governance.
Yes.
I told one of my very close friends, I said, if you are to ask me, my number one answer is not because I want to run for an elective position, but because I want to be an expert and I want government to hire me for my expertise.
That is great, right? Well,
Yes.
what is great about you, Min, is that you know your core, you know your strengths, and you want to develop further as a person, and you want to just get better and better, and you are there.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
At the end of each day, what do you say to yourself, or what is your prayer?
Um, I thank God for surviving a day, another day, and I just tell him to just take care of me and take care of my loved ones. But I also always, because of the pandemic, I always end my prayer before I go to sleep, for God to heal those who are sick and to comfort those who have lost loved ones, but also to keep everyone healthy so that no more people will die because of COVID and other illnesses. I think one of the best things that this pandemic has taught us is to think less of ourselves, to 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 have that genuine concern for others, even for those who we don't know, because we know how devastating it is when COVID hits our homes and
Yeah.
affects our families.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time, Min. Thank you so much for sharing a part of yourself and your story with me and my viewers here on Life Expressions. Final question. If there is a message that you would like to tell future journalists and people who would like to excel in any field that they would take upon themselves, what would you advise them?
For those who want to be future journalists, this is the toughest time for journalists right now. If you really want to be just like us, make sure that it's clear to you what you're getting into. Number two, if you're really sure that you want to be journalists, prepare yourselves. Read, enrich yourself, learn from the best, of course, get the right insights and inputs from the best. Put your heart in it, because you can't get into something like this half-heartedly. Um, you can't be here half-baked. When you say you're doing this, you're pursuing this profession or career, you'll have to take the dive and you'll have to embrace everything that comes. Well, it's a package. It's not all roses. The roses are just 10% of everything. It's blood, sweat, tears, and all the dirty stuff that you do off cam that everybody doesn't know, but that's what makes your character, and that what strengthens you as a person. Well, if you wanna keep on excelling no matter what the circumstances are, I think you just have to be really, really strong, especially when you're a woman. And there is still a gender inequality, right? And
Yeah.
I'm one person who really fights for women empowerment, and I always look up to women who continue to excel in what they do, continue to inspire fellow women. It's really, I think, Cha, it's the same with you. You just have to have the heart,
Yeah.
but also you have to have the brains. But then when you have the heart and the brains, you have to also have humility to accept and to admit your weaknesses. And if you have weaknesses, you are willing to work on them so that you can strengthen them and you can sharpen your skills. But of course, everything you'll have to offer to God, because without Him, nothing will happen. He has to bless your plans, and you just have to trust in Him.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Min. That was wonderful. Thank you, and God bless you more. So
Salamat, Cha!
yeah, you're welcome. Let me end with a few learnings from leadership guru John Maxwell. as I have observed in the life of Yasmin as well. No matter how you give, you will receive more. No matter how much you teach, you will learn more. No matter how much you love, you will receive more. You came, Yasmin, to make a positive difference in the lives of others. You will leave knowing others made a positive difference in you as well. As they say, once you taste significance, success will never satisfy you again. Continue living a life of significance, Min. And everyone, thank you so much for watching. I'm your host, Chari Hinari Ilo. Until next time, here on Life Expressions, my guest is Yasmin Pascual-Dormido. Thank you.
Thank you, Cha. God
Okay,
bless.
bye-bye. Thank you. God bless.